Alright pilots, let's talk about some essential flight techniques, especially for those of you just starting your journey. You know that feeling, right? The excitement of taking to the skies, feeling the freedom, exploring the world from a whole new perspective. It's exhilarating, but before you soar, it's crucial to build a solid foundation. Think of it like this: you wouldn't attempt to loop-the-loop in a glider without mastering the basics first, would you? That's where these 10 essential techniques come in. They're not just techniques, they're your wings to safe and successful flying. So, buckle up, get your notebooks ready, and let's get into it. Alright, imagine this. You're all set to fly, adrenaline pumping, but then you discover a problem during your flight. Not a good feeling, right? That's why the pre-flight inspection is your best friend. This isn't just a quick glance at the wings, it's a meticulous process. We're talking about checking everything, and I mean everything, before you even think about starting the engine. Fuel, oil, hydraulic fluids, make sure they're topped up and within limits. Next, give those tires a good look over, check the brakes, inspect the landing gear, and for goodness sake, make sure the wings are securely attached. Remember, a few minutes on the ground can save you a whole lot of trouble in the air. Let's be honest, this is what everyone remembers from their first flight. The takeoff, that surge of power as you lift off the ground, and the landing, that gentle touchdown back on solid ground. These are the bookends of your flight, and nailing them is crucial. It's all about smooth, controlled movements on the controls. Throttle management is key. Too much power and you'll be climbing like a rocket. Too little, and you might not get off the ground at all. Remember those flaps? They're your friends, especially during landing. They increase lift at lower speeds, making for a smoother touchdown. Oh, and don't forget to maintain the correct pitch angle and airspeed. It's a lot to think about, but trust me, practice makes perfect. So you're up in the air, feeling good, but then you realize you have no idea where you are. Don't worry, we've all been there. Navigation is a vital skill for any pilot, and it's not just about plugging coordinates into a GPS. Think of it as understanding the language of the skies. You'll be using tools like VORs, which are ground-based radio transmitters that guide you, and of course the trusty GPS. But don't rely solely on technology. Learning to read aviation charts is crucial, and being able to identify landmarks and interpret visual cues is like having a backup navigation system in your head. Remember, the better you understand navigation, the more confident and safe you'll be up there. Chapter 4. Communication. It's not just what you say, but how you say it. You're in the air, surrounded by other aircraft, and it's like a perfectly choreographed dance. But what keeps this dance from turning into a disaster? Communication, my friends. And I'm not talking about casual chit-chat. This is about clear, concise, and professional communication with air traffic control and other pilots. It's about understanding the specific language of aviation, the terminology, the protocols, and the etiquette. A wrong word or a misunderstood instruction can have serious consequences. So practice your radio calls, learn the lingo, and remember, clear communication is key to a safe and enjoyable flight. Chapter 5. Weather Analysis. Because the sky can be unpredictable. Remember that time you planned a picnic on a sunny day, and then it suddenly poured? Yeah, the weather has a mind of its own, especially up in the air. That's why understanding weather analysis is non-negotiable for pilots. This isn't just glancing at the weather app on your phone. We're talking about diving deep into weather reports, understanding those cryptic symbols and numbers, and being able to predict how weather patterns might affect your flight. Knowing how to interpret meters, TAFs, and weather charts is like having a superpower that lets you make informed decisions about your flight. Remember, a little bit of weather knowledge can go a long way in keeping you safe up there. Chapter 6. Emergency Procedures. Stay calm and fly on. Nobody wants to think about emergencies, but as pilots we need to be prepared for anything. It's like having a plan B and sometimes even a plan C. What happens if you experience engine failure? What do you do if your electrical system goes haywire? Knowing the emergency procedures for your aircraft is like having an insurance policy for the skies. It's about staying calm under pressure, following the checklists, and knowing how to react quickly and effectively in any situation. Remember, panic is never the solution. Proper training and a cool head will see you through. Chapter 7. Instrument Flying. When the clouds roll in. Ever been in a car in thick fog? You can barely see a thing, right? Now imagine flying in that. Scary, huh? That's where instrument flying comes in. It's about learning to fly solely by reference to your instruments, trusting those dials and gauges to guide you when you can't see outside the cockpit. It's about understanding the relationship between your instruments, your aircraft's attitude, and your spatial orientation. It's challenging, but mastering instrument flying is like unlocking a new level of skill and confidence as a pilot. Ever wondered how something so heavy can just stay up in the air? It's not magic, it's aerodynamics. Understanding the principles of flight lift, drag, thrust, and how they all interact is crucial for pilots. It's about knowing how your control inputs affect the aircraft's behavior in the air. It's about understanding why a stall happens and how to recover from it. Knowing the science behind flight makes you a better, safer, and more confident pilot. Imagine driving a car without knowing how the engine works or what all those buttons do. Sounds risky, right? The same goes for flying. You need to be intimately familiar with your aircraft's systems, the engine, the electrical system, the fuel system, the hydraulics, the avionics, everything. Knowing how these systems work, how to monitor them, and what to do if something goes wrong is essential for safe flight. It's about being proactive, spotting potential problems early on and understanding how to troubleshoot them. You're up in the air, and suddenly the weather takes a turn for the worse. What do? This is where decision-making comes in, the most critical skill for any pilot. It's about assessing risks, evaluating options, and making informed decisions based on the information available to you. It's about knowing when to continue, when to divert, and when to stay on the ground. Good decision-making comes from experience, knowledge, and a healthy dose of caution. So, there you have it, 10 essential flight training techniques that every new pilot should master. These techniques form the bedrock of your aviation journey, providing you with the skills and knowledge to fly safely and confidently. Remember, learning to fly is a continuous process. It's about constantly striving to improve, to expand your knowledge, and to refine your skills. So embrace the journey, enjoy the process, and never stop learning. And most importantly, have fun up there. The sky's the limit.